intro. Before Sauron, there's definitely Morgoth. Before the One Ring, before the Dark Tower, before the Nazgul whispered in the night, there was definitely a greater shadow. A shadow born not from just simple ambition, but instead from truly proud feelings, from really jealousy, and most importantly, from the desire to dominate creation itself. His name was once Melkor, the mightiest and most powerful of the Aenir, the most intelligent and the most gifted, the most creative and the most brilliant, and unfortunately the first to fall. Tonight we set out to descend into the origin of evil in Middle-earth, not just a humble servant, but instead the very master, not just a mere shadow, but instead a darkness that in turn casted it. The first fall, Melkor descended into Arda, not as a mere guardian, but rather as a fierce conqueror. Where others spent time shaping mountains with care, he simply shattered them. Where others would often create beautiful seas, he turned them into corruption. He twisted the very flame into senseless destruction. He poisoned what was once pure and nurtured, and thus Melkor transformed into Morgoth, the Black Enemy, the very first Dark Lord. Unlike Sauron, Morgoth did not aim for mere rule. He sought nothing but ruin. If he could not possibly possess creation itself, he would desire nothing more than to break it. The end, the corruption of life. Morgoth could not create life. That powerful creation belonged exclusively to Eru. From the wombs of captured elves emerged the orcs. However, he was not content with merely twisting what was already there. From the abyss of spirits of fire came forth the Balrogs. From the shadows and depths of hatred emerged the terrifying creatures, made of flesh and blood. And on his greatest act of corruption, Morgoth's influence was unparalleled. It is said that Morgoth unwittingly poured his own essence into the very fabric of Arda, not into a single ring, but into the depths of the earth, into the solid rock, and into the very blood that courses through our veins. He dispersed his essence throughout the world. And by doing so, he ensured that his influence would never truly fade away. For Middle-earth itself was stained with the blood of the elves captured by Morgoth and his minions. Henner the disciple, ever before becoming the Dark Lord. Henner was a humble servant, a proficient lieutenant of Morgoth. He acquired a knack for cruelty. He honed his skill in dominating. He cultivated a resilient capacity for patience. However, there was a significant difference between them. Henner yearned for order. Morgoth craved the destruction of everything in his path. Morgoth unleashed a furious chaos, irrespective of Morgoth's defeat. And yet, Henner remained steadfast, and through his unyielding resistance, the ideology of Morgoth persisted. The War of Wrath. In the opening moments of the First Age, the Valar finally intervened and declared a war against the menacing threat. That was Morgoth. This monumental conflict completely disrupted the equilibrium of the world, shattering continents, disorienting mountains, and overwhelming the seas with their unbridled power. The sky itself became a battlefield, with fiery explosions leaving a path of destruction in their wake. Even the mightiest being in Arda, Morgoth, was not immune to the repercussions of this war. The great wizard had scattered his magical power throughout the world, making him vulnerable to attack and dispersing his essence. As Morgoth was captured and bound to the timeless void, it became clear that his end was not ultimate. Instead, Morgoth's true legacy lay in his influence and corruption, which lingered long after his body had disintegrated. The War of Wrath was, at its core, a divine struggle, fueled by the eternal battle between light and darkness. As Morgoth's power diminished, so did his ability to maintain his influence over the world. In the end, it was the corruption that survived. Transcending the physical boundaries of Morgoth's body, through the War of Wrath, the Valar demonstrated that even the mightiest of beings can be vanquished by the forces of darkness when confronted with an unrelenting battlefield. It was not the end, but rather a cautionary tale of the consequences of unlimited power. The legacy of Morgoth was not his body, but rather his corruption, which remained pervasive in the world long after he had been defeated. Morgoth and the Silmarils, among his deepest obsessions, were the enchanting Silmarils. These beautiful, radiant jewels crafted by the skilled hands of Fëanor fascinated Morgoth deeply. Jewels so pure that even the light of the two trees could not tarnish them, remained an object of immense desire to the Dark Lord. Morgoth's fascination with the Silmarils was not driven by any strategic or survival instincts. Instead, it was fueled by an insatiable thirst for evil and an unyielding desire to possess pure light. His actions ultimately led to the ignition of centuries-long wars as kingdoms crumbled under the weight of loyalty and oaths while bloodlines were doomed to endless suffering. In his quest to obtain these rare and magical jewels, Morgoth unveiled a truth that would have come to define the course of Middle-earth. For the next several millennia, it became evident that evil does not always seek to destroy what it dislikes. Often it covets what it cannot create or possess, a Melrose discovery. There is a lingering insinuation in the realms of Tolkien's legendarium as Morgoth infused his essence into the fabric of existence. A fragment of his malevolence has seeped into every corner of Middle-earth, every act of cruelty, every onslaught of war, every betrayal. The echoes of his very first discord resonates in every melody. Morgoth has left this world. However, his shadow seems to linger even now. It pervades the fear and the greed that permeates each desire. It lingers in the domination of every power that seeks to control. Morgoth is not merely a fallen deity. He represents a crack in the very creation itself from which life emerged. Though Morgoth was cast directly into the timeless void, there are whispers in the hushed corners of the world that his story is not entirely over. Ancient voices speak of an impending final battle, the last battle. It is said that one day Morgoth, the dark entity who was cast out of the realms, will break through the doors of night and reappear on the world of Arda, not as a hidden entity corrupting the world, but as the shadow revealed. In that climactic battle, even the Valar will return to the world, for they are called upon to partake in this epic conflict. The mountains will crack with immense forces, the seas will rise, and the sky itself will burn with the echoes of creation. And the music of the Aenor, the sacred music once used by the former beings of Middle-earth, will reach its final crescendo. Some argue that this prophecy is purely legendary, while others believe Tolkien intentionally left it as myth. But the idea remains, for Morgoth is not merely a villain. He is a powerful symbol of a principle, the possibility of rebellion and the seed of discord. The shadow that haunts our world beyond time exists in wait. And if the initial discord originated from Morgoth, the final harmony may only come to light when he is truly ended. Conclusion. Prior to Sauron crafting the One Ring, prior to opposing armies positioning themselves beneath the eye, there existed Morgoth, the very first rebel, the most formidable tyrant, the very individual who introduced discord into the creation of the world. He did not merely seek power for himself. Instead, his intent was to dismantle the very fabric of existence. And although he was forcefully cast into the void, yet his echo endures, due to the most significant evil that exists not being a weapon, nor a tower, nor even a ring. The true essence of evil lies in the corruption of the heart, and that which prevailed was Morgoth's genuine creation,